appetite to do stuff like this, and Donald Trump was crazy enough to do it. But the final fucking domino was absolutely Israel pushing Donald Trump with shitty ass intelligence, telling him that this would actually be super easy because they had a different ambition in mind. But yeah, I do worry that this will continue over and over again. I do worry that this will happen in Cuba. I worry that this will happen with any state that even European allies potentially whenever Donald Trump sees fit, because there is no one ready to counter the Trump administration. There's no one ready to counter the American government. Donald Trump tested this a little bit with Greenland. He got high off of his own supply with Venezuela and thought, oh, I'll do this to Greenland. Okay. How the first U.S. service members died. The first, all those you can refuse orders things is bullshit. Explosions heard in Tel Aviv again? No. Isn't it supposed to be morning time by now? This is fake, right? What's gonna happen in this video? Is there some fucking... Iran set a 7 a.m. alarm for Tel Aviv residents. I guess it's 4 a.m. You need a row of clocks behind you. This is embarrassing hot mess. Yeah, Sohrab Ahmari, for some weird reason, has stopped being a chud again out of nowhere with this Iran stuff. This is an embarrassing hot mess. The Iranian security forces will just surrender to the people, or no, it'll be like in Venezuela. From President Trump's new interview with the New York Times, it seems unlikely that he's fully thought this through. Dude, you're such a lunatic. Only show the things that are positive to your agenda. You never show both sides because deep down you know you're wrong. Yeah, guys, I want to apologize. How can you believe these things genuinely? You can show all the bad things that ICE does, but never show the good things. Like what? I want to apologize to everybody here. As you guys know, I'm very biased against kidnapping children, kidnapping random neighbors that are just trying to go about their day. I am very biased about that sort of thing. What would be the good thing that ICE does? Like they kidnapped a guy that you didn't like personally? Is that what happened? Like, can you explain to me? Like deporting rapist immigrants. Who captured the rapist immigrants? Okay? Because it wasn't ICE. If anybody does a rape, well, let's be real. The American local law enforcement, unfortunately, is not very good at prosecuting. No, it's not ICE, you fucking idiot. See, 95% of problems, 95% of problems that come from the conservative side, 95% of conservative grievances is just because you don't know. You don't know things and you don't want to read. You don't want to learn things. This is the issue. You just angrily lash out. You're a fucking idiot. What do you want me to say to you? You're just objectively wrong. No, ICE is not a normal member of law enforcement. Okay? It's actually local police. It's the prosecutors that prosecute the rapists. It's the normal criminal justice system that goes through the normal criminal justice function. ICE does not have the capacity, nor the knowledge, nor the technical expertise. Falling for the rage-based dumbass, go shocker dog. Do you think this is your exit ramp? You came in here and you got called out for being a fucking moron. And you're like, oh, this is just rage bait. Okay, dude, I'm sorry that you chose to fucking behave like you have a genuine learning disability. You really owned me and everybody else in here. Good job. Take a week off. I was just fucking, I was just presenting myself as a fucking moron. Just to rage bait you, actually. I was just pretending. This is what I'm doing on my Sunday night. They're a wannabe streamer. They have clips. Oh, I fucking love seeing shit like that. Shut your bitch ass up. Let's see what this guy's got going for him. Wait, what? No, they don't have any clips. Why'd you come in here and lie to me? I got excited. Apparently he streams Minecraft, but his videos we can't find. Oh shit, he does have clips. But he doesn't show his face.
Money.
Pay who?
Oh yeah, you're not getting shit, boy.
I'll pay my dick, nigga. What are you talking about?
Alright, snacking.
Oh, I feel bad as a child. Oh God. At least he's anti-racist. He's a British child. Oh, sometimes I be duking it out with kids, you know what I mean? Equal opportunity hands, okay? Equal opportunity hands. British child who likes American immigration officials. Bro, the internet was a mistake, man. It was a fucking mistake. You got like a British 12-year-old simping for ICE, deporting random people working on U.S. soil. What the hell, man? What the hell? Ugh. Great video. Video from CNN to Trump responding to questions on Iran by commenting on new statues that he has installed in the Rose Garden of the White House. Nice.
Several military bases. Smoke was seen in the industrial area in Qatar's capital, Doha. Strikes have also hit Bahrain, Jordan, Oman, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. Attacks have been reported on airports, residential buildings, and hotels. Shelter-in-place alerts have been issued to citizens across the region. The foreign ministers of the Gulf Cooperation Council have condemned Iranian attacks targeting the region. In a joint statement, the GCC has called them grave violations of sovereignty, good neighbourliness and international law, particularly due to the targeting of civilians and civilian objects. The statement says GCC states reserve their legal right to respond and take all...
Opening blow that killed Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and dozens of other Iranian leaders. The military feat itself is the reason we are where we are. Pure and simple. Meticulous intelligence work identified the routines and locations of the Ayatollah and others in Iran's national security apparatus, and when a set of meetings on Saturday's morning were pinpointed, the tightest rubber band machine snapped into action. Calling this starting a war is a Democratic talking point, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth said today, adding, this is the elimination of a threat that has existed since 1979. Because we were already at war with Iran and have been for decades, this is the other side of the machine, by the way. It is Israel's urging, but the other side of the machine is the American appetite for more and more actions like this that is developed for decades prior to Donald Trump, right? So when Ken writes this, there is truth to it, right? Like this machine has expanded, it has ballooned, and Donald Trump was crazy enough with the urging of Israel to go in and do this assassination strike, no holds barred. And I think a big transition from the previous neocon iteration of like going in and doing like a 20-year project of developing a puppet state and taking complete control over the country changed after Libya. Libya was seen by the military industrial complex as a massive success. Very low, like no assets were harmed in the process, and very little commitments as far as like staying behind and trying to figure out what takes place in the country. Okay? We collapsed the state, we destroyed the nation, and we fucked off, right? And we left our, paramilitary groups on the ground that we're aligned with or work with from time to time, ISIS style, Salafist groups. And then we let other regional partners like Turkey take control over the country. The difference here is Iran is not Libya, okay? Iran is not Libya. But the lessons learned from Libya was there is very little domestic political consequence if you just go in and out, destroy the fucking state, and leave it as a pile of ashes, basically. Okay? As a Libyan, it's pretty infuriating every time you mention Libya. What do you mean? What? Are you going to tell me? Are you going to do fucking standpoint epistemology on how actually Gaddafi needed to go and it's a perfectly robust state now in and of itself? Is that what you're going to tell me? What are we doing, man? Or are you saying that even like a reminder of America's imperial ambitions in Libya, it's more complex than that? No, I was part of the revolution. It's always more complex. Is Libya better off now or is it not? It sucks now, but we did that. Okay. Yes, America and the American CIA has never taken advantage of real anger and resentment. The Arab Spring was just nothing. It didn't happen. It didn't exist. Here's a good book I recommend. Vincent Bevins wrote it, not Jakarta Method, even though that's a great book as well. But his recent book that he wrote is specifically on this. I'm gonna get to reading that when I have time. What is it? If We Burn, I believe. If We Burn is the name of the book. I believe he even talks about Libya in it, if I'm not mistaken. But it's mostly talking about Brazil and talking about like real popular movements and how they get real popular movements and how the American State Department takes advantage of real popular movements with civil society organizations that they've already created and basically turns a real revolution into something that suits their purpose. I would love to hear you press that chatter on what part he played in the Libyan revolution, because 99% chance he was supporting from afar as the Libyan in Colorado or some shit. Yeah, I don't know. As a fellow diasporoid, I am to rate your top 5 worst ones. I mean, it's Cuban, Persian, Iranian, Venezuelan. Actually, Venezuelans are not. They're hit or miss. I don't know. Like, it's hard. I feel like Lebanese are up there too. Well, depends. Because Lebanese diaspora is like either the coolest people you've ever met or fucking people who say I'm Phoenician. You know what I mean? Like, there's more diversity in the diaspora population, whereas like with the Iranian and the Cubans, there isn't really a lot of diversity at all. It's just like one massive fucking in-group. Again, diversity in the Chinese diaspora population as well, but Falun Gong, it's pretty bad. Why is Cubans always catching strays? We ain't all bad, brother. As a part of the Cuban diaspora, I think you're probably aware of what the Cuban diaspora has been doing for years and years to Cuba specifically, right? I mean, we're talking about your neighbors and your relatives if you live in a Cuban neighborhood still. Like, I think you know better than anybody else personally. We're talking about like the overwhelming majority. Yeah, my whole fam. Exactly. If a diaspora population, if with your diaspora population, the overwhelming majority is like incredibly reactionary. It's hard to look at it as anything but like the reactionary component. Hasan, işin sonu bize sekecek gibi ama o zaman ipler tamamen kopar. Aynen abi. A Persian actress I like follows you on Insta. Türkler NATO ülkesiyiz, bize girmez diyor. Arkadaşlar o zaman öğreneceğiz. Amerika İsrail'in köpeği mi yoksa Amerika hala büyük partner mı öğreneceğiz o zaman. Okey? Bu kadar basit. Bu kadar basit. Siyonizm daha mı önemli Amerika için yoksa Amerikan kapitalizmi daha mı önemli göreceğiz. O gün göreceğiz. İnşallah o günü görmeyiz hiçbir zaman. Anyway. Because we're already at war with Iran and have been for decades. Yes, there's intelligent diplomatic people who fret about the consequences, but like wusses in Congress, they are brushed aside because this is an opportunity we can't pass up. That's how it's been explained to me. As many of you have noticed, I'm not going to lie. I think Ken is like taking away the shared responsibility from Israel with this article a little bit. I do disagree to some respect. I respectfully have to disagree. I think this is like I understand that like escalation after escalation after escalation created a robust. Iran hasn't even been able to stop Israel from expanding into other countries' borders, regardless. It appears that an aircraft strayed too deep into Iranian airspace and was down. The scale of the explosion suggests it was not a drone.
Allahu Ekber! Allahu Ekber!
Persians, man. Iranis.
Allahu Ekber! Allahu Ekber!
I love this accent so much. Allah. I don't even know how to do it.
Allahu Ekber!
What the fuck? No, this is fake, right? Where is this from? I don't believe this. No, this is fake. There's no shot. I don't. Where is? I haven't seen this anywhere else. This has been out for 3 hours. Most likely fucking fake. 10 interceptors versus 1 Iranian missile. Yeah, we watched this happen live. That's bigger than a fighter jet explosion would be. First time I've ever seen a circuit breaker triggered on an upward price movement. Total chud, financial destruction coming. Circuit breaker triggered at New York Mex crude oil open. NY Mex crude oil open. Macro edge. Is this good? Hey, yo, this hasanabi hit is popping off.
You're gonna die for Israel, you stupid fuck! Everyone will hate you for the rest of your life! You're fucking pathetic, dude! You're fucking pathetic! You're coward shit with this asymmetrical shit. Y'all don't know how to do a fair fight, do you? You would never last in a fair fucking fight.
Back up.
No!
Back up.
Don't tell
Back
me what
up.
to do! Don't
Back
make
up.
it work for me!
Back up.
Every family member you have is going to fucking deny that they're related to you! You guys are fucking pathetic! Look at you. You can't even look at us in the eye. You know you're on the wrong side of history. You're fucking ashamed. Look at him. Look at him. Ready to fucking change the safety like you're gonna fucking shoot anybody, you coward-ass bitch. You ain't gonna do nothing. You aren't gonna do nothing. This ain't Call of Duty, kid. Go home. This ain't 12 Prestige. This is real life. You know what would be the end of the world? The Nuremberg trials. Did you finish enough schooling to learn what that is? Do you know what they did to people who protected fucking places where they took children in the Nuremberg trials? Do you know what happened? If you finished school, you might have learned what happened after World War II. You should look up what happened to Nazi war criminals. Go ahead, look it up. Have you ever been shot at? No, you haven't. You haven't seen combat. What, maybe you got pepper sprayed in fucking boot camp? You don't know shit, dude. You haven't seen anything. You could grow up and have a real life. But no, you're fucking here. Protecting children, getting put in cages. It's pathetic. It's actually pathetic. Half of these kids look like they're about to burst into tears. They're fucking children holding assault rifles. It's pathetic. You're used as political pawns. You don't care. You're just following orders, right? That was not an acceptable defense at the Nuremberg trials. You actually have it. You have systems in place in your military to be a conscientious objector, but you are refusing to take those channels because you are afraid of the executive branch coming after you. So you are intimidated into just being pawns for a political system rather than of the country.
What? This isn't ICE? This isn't how you get military to sympathize with the civilians? They're just trying to get housing and med? I fucking hate this side of the left. Okay, buddy. I'm not like a fucking troop exploder leftist at all, but there is a fucking, there's a limit, okay? Fuck you mean? They're positioned outside of an ICE facility design, you know, and become anti-war, then that's fine. But that's crazy to me that you're over here being like, nah, dude, you don't understand. Clean Vermont theory in the big 226. That guy had Fred Hampton in their username? Stop.
Necessary measures to defend their sovereignty, security, and stability, including the option of a military response. He also demanded immediate halt to the attacks, emphasizing that Gulf stability is essential to the global economy and maritime navigation. Earlier, my colleague Folly spoke with Alan Ahmed Al-Asmani, a political analyst and fellow at the Middle East Council on Global Affairs. She says Gulf states are likely expected Iran to respond quickly to the attack, but not the scale and reach of its retaliation.
Quick, maybe, but so wide, I think no one really anticipated that such a thing would happen. And unanticipated does not necessarily mean unprepared. And we've seen the response that all the states were quite prepared for it. However,
I've been watching Al Jazeera go on cope mode the entire fucking morning before I went live. They had a dude from Riyadh who's so fucking pissed off. Like the GCC guys are hella mad right now because they're like, they don't got a lot of leg to stand on here. They're just like, it's really fucked up. Why can't we have American bases? Like, calm down, Iran.
It's unbelievable for everyone that Iran would walk face first, eyes wide open into such a trap.
Right. So when you say they were clearly prepared, even though the attack was wide and perhaps not expected to be that wide, in the case of Qatar, it successfully thwarted dozens of Iranian missiles. But how long can it continue to do this? How long can Gulf states continue to push back with their defenses? Is this sustainable?
So it's sustainable. The Gulf states have great relations with very main security partners, so there's no worry from that side. But sustainable, we also have to think about the economy and we have to think about the people and regional stability. No one wants this to go on any longer than yesterday. Not even at all. And so I have all confidence that they are able to thwart these attacks. However, should they have to? No, they shouldn't.
Here's a look at some of the missiles Iran is deploying. The Shahab 1 and the Fateh 110 are considered short range, traveling about 300 kilometers. The Rad 500, Shahab 2, and Fateh 313 can reach nearly 500 kilometers. And the range of 1,000 kilometers are the Deswal and Gulf missile systems. And the Shahab 3 is estimated to reach roughly 1,300 kilometers. On the long range, Iran has 3 missiles that can reach up to 2,000 kilometers. Now, France, Germany, and the UK. Otherwise known as E3 have released a joint statement condemning Iran's strikes. It says E3 leaders are appalled by the indiscriminate and disproportionate missile attacks launched by Iran against countries in the region, including those who were not involved in the initial US and Israeli military operations. Iran's reckless attacks have targeted our close allies and are threatening our service personnel. We call on Iran to stop these reckless attacks immediately, and we will take steps to defend our interests and those of our allies in the region.
E3's making it the worst way.
With the US and
what do you mean? They've always been there in the cup chair, as always.
But the only way to stop the threat is to destroy the missiles at source, in their storage depots, or the launchers which are used to fire the missiles. The United States has requested permission to use British bases for that specific and limited defensive purpose. We have taken the decision to accept this request. I want to be very clear. We all remember the mistakes of Iraq, and we have learned those lessons. We were not involved in the initial strikes on Iran, and we will not join offensive action now. But Iran is pursuing a scorched earth strategy, so we are supporting the collective self-defense of our allies and our people in the region.
Hassan bin Javid explains the E3 leader's position from Brussels.
Not just the development piece of but essentially.
Wait, you don't like this guy? What do you mean? Former CIA officer John Kiriakou.
To defend the nest, and they have the ability to defend themselves against conventional missiles. There's no clear defense against a hypersonic missile. The Iranians have them. They purchased them from the Chinese. They've also purchased them from the Russians. Well, we're not sure that we can defend against an Iranian supersonic missile. We've all studied the Gulf of Tonkin. We've all studied 9/11. We've all studied Pearl Harbor. If the Iranians actually do sink an aircraft carrier, you're right. It's World War III.
I just don't. First of all, I don't know what he means by that, but like, if Iranians sink an aircraft carrier, we're likely to destroy an aircraft carrier by destroying the pooping mechanism in it. But once again, I think in the very unlikely scenario, they have like segmented defense, so you'd have to hit it like 4 times at least. In the very unlikely scenario where that happens, okay? And it can happen, but in the very unlikely scenario that it does happen, it's over. Everything is over. Like, it's done. Who the fuck would value the dollar ever again? Because the only thing backing the dollar is the confidence that the world has that America is the singular world power that can dominate any country in a moment's notice. 24 hours, tremendous logistics. They can be anywhere around the world in like 24 to 48 hours, and they can start shit. They can destroy you. Yeah, dominate sexually. Hassan, cry harder. Hassan, please leave USA if you hate it. No, I want to stay here and I want to force sweet, delicious healthcare down your fucking throat. You're going to be like, no, we need to keep fighting Israel's wars. No. And I'm like, no, you're going to fucking have healthcare instead. No more war. No war, just peace. And also on top of that, you're going to get fucking healthcare. You're going to have housing. You're like, no, I don't want housing. I want to grind for it. I'm like, no, bitch, you're going to fucking get that house and you're going to like it. Okay. I'm going to shove it down your goddamn throat. I'm going to stay here and do that. I'm going to prolong your lifespan by a decade. Do we have any idea how many hypersonics Iranians have? I don't know. Hypersonic weapons are as they currently exist are tantamount to normal ballistic missiles. The U.S. and other NATO nations have had the capability to defeat these weapons for many decades. Hypersonic weapons are just a fearmonger buzzword. I've heard this so many times, and yet I still see them go so fast, so super fast, and I'm amazed by it. Maybe I have a monkey brain, but I also keep hearing that we have the capabilities of intercepting them, and I don't actually see that when I'm watching the Tel Aviv skyline. For some reason, I guess they just choose not to use it. Is that what it is? Because it kind of does feel to me like it's cope. Like, genuinely, it feels to me like it's fucking cope. Whenever Americans, and I've talked to some people that are like, yeah, the hypersonic stuff is just a buzzword. It's not that serious. We have all the capabilities of interception. There are two elements of a missile: speed and targeting. Hypersonics that are ballistics are different than hypersonic anti-ship missiles. Only China is fielding advanced anti-ship cruise missiles, ASCMs, like the YJ-15, YJ-17, YJ-19, and YJ-20, often referred to as carrier killers, far surpassing the United States. We don't even have that. Yeah, and also, China has not given Iran those missiles. They were floating the idea, supposedly, but I don't think that they're going to do that anyway. So the Iranian missiles are best used on land targets because they're easier to hit. Carriers are a small moving target. Yeah, the hypersonics are difficult for our missiles to intercept because they are not fired on a ballistic trajectory. It's why the Ukrainians have difficulty shooting down the Kinshal with the Patriot Pack 3, Patriot Pack 3s. Yeah, also, Rand doing a hypersonic missile non-proliferation is really funny. And it basically proves the point that other chatters in here have been making, which is saying, hey, we would not like our foreign adversaries to have a tremendous advantage against our current defenses. Central Committee is wrong. Carrier killers are the Chinese have as their conventional ballistic missiles. They have a lot of decoys and the ability for the warhead to maneuver a lot. Maybe we scammed Israel and sold them the Bronze Dome instead. Excuse me. Israel gets all the best tech. Israel gets all the best tech. Okay? I mean, literally, they do. Part of the reason why China is up Israel's asshole all the fucking time is because Israel gets all the best tech. And then maybe China gets some of it. I don't know. It's possible to intercept hypersonics when you're confident on the direction they will come from. The way it's explained to me is that normal interceptors have effective ranges that look like a circle, but if they're tuned to focus on one direction in order to intercept hypersonics, they become squished oval. That didn't make any sense to me at all. I'm too stupid to understand missile technology. I am not a missile autist. Why does China not give Iran these missiles so they can destroy dollar hegemony? What makes you think China doesn't want dollar hegemony to continue? China stole a 4th-generation fighter design from Israel, but that was a long time ago. They're fielding 6th-generation fighters that the U.S. also doesn't have. No, I have it on good authority that their 6th-gen fighters are bullshit, actually, and America has something way sicker in the books. They haven't just shown it. Okay? Yeah, I heard that the Chinese potential 6th generations are they're tofu. They're made with tofu dreg. And also, yeah, for the other chatter, I don't think China actually wants dollar hegemony to end, at least not for the time being. Anyway, so fucking hard. Israel literally cut out natural gas transfers to Egypt like a month ago. It didn't even make a blip. It didn't even register as like a issue of consequence. And on top of that, Egypt is already such a pliant vassal state, basically a fucking fail state, that like there is no Egypt in the equation. People aren't even looking to see what Egypt has to say in this instance. Forget Hegseth. Trump himself said it.
I had 2 questions for you. First, are there currently any American boots on the ground in Iran?
No, but we're not going to go into the exercise of what we will or will not do. I think it's one of those fallacies for a long time that this department or presidents or others should tell the American people this, and our enemies, by the way, here's exactly what we'll do. Here's exactly how long we'll go. Here's exactly how far we'll go. Here's what we're willing to do and not do. It's foolishness. And so President Trump ensures that our enemies understand we'll go as far as we need to go to advance American interests. But we're not dumb about it. You don't have to roll 200,000 people in there and stay for 20 years. Yeah. Right here.
Thank you, Secretary Hegseth. I had 2 questions for you. First, are there currently any
Their contempt for the American people is so infuriating. Yeah. I was going to say that. So one of the things that's always frustrating about the way that these guys talk and people react when they're like, and people's reactions to the way that they talk is like, there is this notion that like America cares. There's this idea that like the American state cares, right, about the citizens in Iran. They don't care about the fucking civilians in Iran. They don't care about the citizens in Iran. They don't care about democracy in Iran. America doesn't even care about its own sons it sends to war, nor its oil-rich Gulf partners. So I'm always confused by desperate people in the diaspora who demand violent intervention by the U.S., thinking it'll lead to prosperity. They're just going to kill your family. Right? Saudi Arabia officials saying that the U.S. abandoned them and redirected its air defenses to protect Israel. They left all the Gulf states that host American military bases at the mercy of Iranian strikes. America doesn't care about anybody. America is currently committing their own sons to engage in unlimited warfare and die at the hands of Israel's military ambitions, no matter how destabilizing it may be. It makes me feel so bad as a Jewish American that Israel's framing all their actions as defense of the Jewish people. I worry that one day will lead to an anti-Semitic sentiment against my religion at no fault of mine. I mean, that's already here, chatter. That's already happening. Like, that's why this whole America First shit is I mean, that's why it was so successful as a narrative, right? That's why it was so successful as a narrative, because Americans were listening to Trump go, why are we sending our fucking boys and girls to go fight wars so that, you know, some weirdo can turn profit? You know, why can we like extract the oil and whatnot? Only until Trump turned around and said, actually, that is America first. What's insane is that 2 million wars later and you still have to repeat that basic fact? I know. I know. And I'll still fucking repeat it. I will never get tired of repeating it. But yeah, Iranian sources say some buildings and hotels hit in the Gulf were housing Israeli or U.S. personnel or intelligence operations. That Iran pinpointed the locations has really caught the Americans and Israelis off guard. People said this was propaganda. This was Iranian propaganda. And then guess what? The American government confirmed it. Through diplomatic cables, the American government confirmed that Iran actually had successfully struck American assets, defense contractors. Do you think they'll attack Incirlik? I don't know. Iran is pretty fucking crazy and they want the smoke. I just don't know if they want that kind of smoke because then it's like NATO. Scoop. U.S. is stonewalling requests by some Gulf states who came under attack from Iran to replenish air defense interceptors, Western officials and former U.S. official tell me. We have shot several years' worth of production in the last few days. Also, we obviously have a higher priority here, which is our commitment to defending the nation state of Israel. Okay?
Bigger picture of what this all means. Let's go ahead and first start with our first element. Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu saying the quiet part out loud. He says, in bombing Iran, Israel has now the assistance of the United States, my friend President Donald Trump, and the U.S. military. This coalition of forces allows us to do what I've yearned to do for 40 years. 40 years, it's a dream that the Prime Minister had, despite all of the alleged pretexts about preemptive attacks, nuclear strikes, ballistic missiles. This is something that has been in the heart of the Bibi Netanyahu project. I just was wondering if you could react to that and frame your general thoughts around this entire regional war that has now erupted.
I hadn't seen that quote, but if he said it, what an asshole he is.
Bigger picture of what...
Professor Jeffrey Sachs reacts to Benjamin Netanyahu publicly boasting that Trump helped him finally fulfill his 40-year dream to attack Iran. Well, my fucking friend, what the fuck? Like, it all comes down to buddies doing favors for each other. State Department is urging citizens to leave the Middle East ASAP. Breaking, the U.S. State Department urges Americans to depart now via commercial means due to serious safety risks. Countries listed: Bahrain, Egypt, Iran, Iraq, Israel, West Bank and Gaza, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Syria, United Arab Emirates, and Yemen. Jeffrey Sachs giving his hour-long analysis on how the U.S. undermined and collapsed Russia after the fall of the USSR is a video you would love to watch. Yeah, Jeffrey Sachs, Mersheimer. These guys are the most vindicated figures, just like I almost said Noam Chomsky. Norm Finkelstein, another figure that was instantly vindicated post-October 7. These guys have been getting yelled at nonstop. And when people yell at me, they're basically yelling at a watered-down version of their analysis as well. Of course, much easier to yell at me because I can be presented as a dumb himbo and don't have the same long-standing like academic pedigree and also personal involvement as well. Oh, this was really funny. Speaking of like the American assets falling apart, we talked about disapprovals. We talked about approvals. We talked about Spain getting yelled at. Oh, here's a footage from a commercial airliner showing a missile being launched. I suspect this is an older video. There's a Kuwaiti death. I don't have the yips with respect to boots on the ground. Exclusive to the New York Post, by the way. I don't have the yips with respect to boots on the ground, like every president says. There will be no boots on the ground. There will be no boots on the ground. I don't say it, Trump tells the New York Post. He's saying he's committing. That's a video from a Japanese space launch. Oh, okay. He's telling the New York Post he doesn't have the yips. He will put boots on the ground if he chooses to, if he sees it to be the appropriate measure. Prepare to die for Israel, everybody. That's so funny that you guys just sent me the Ken Klippenstein article because he just sent it to me as well via text. Why we struck Iran, the machine that all but made the decision itself. We attacked Iran because the target was simply too tempting to pass up, military sources tell me. No consideration was given to what, the so what, or the then what. I'm also told the high-value targets were just too valuable. The Ayatollah Chief of Staff of the Army Minister of Defense, at least 40 senior officials in the total were killed. Trump approved what was all but impossible not to approve. The president is captive to an intelligence machine built over decades that now produces kill packages so clean and seductive that it practically runs itself. As the Pentagon bluntly put it, a large-scale U.S. strike cut off the head of the snake, summarizing its view of a crisp decapitation operation. Trump gets away with all of this by pretending we're not really at war, a falsehood which Congress is happy to play along. Asked if the U.S. is at war with Iran, Senator Lindsey Graham told to Meet the Press, I don't know if this is technically a war. Absurd as that sounds, Democratic leaders are adopting the same framing Senator Chuck Schumer says the strikes are risking wider conflict, as if this already hasn't done that. Representative Hakeem Jeffrey says the operation has brought us to the brink of possible war, as if this isn't already war. If killing a 36-year-long head of state and his deputies isn't war, what is? The United States is at war with Iran, pure and simple. We have been for decades. We supported Iraq in its war against Iran. We've conducted special operations inside Iran. We've shot at Iranian coastal installations and sunk Iranian ships. We've undertaken constant covert operations in the shadows, from actual sabotage to planning cyber viruses. We shot down an Iranian civilian airliner, attacked targets on land, and conducted thousands of strikes against Iranian proxies in multiple countries from Yemen to Lebanon. We've labeled the country a part of the axis of evil. We killed Quds Force head Qasem Soleimani in an aerial assassination and bombed Iranian nuclear-related sites. We've thwarted Iranian attacks on Israel and others, maintained a tripwire ground force in Kuwait, and hardened installations in the region. From Jimmy Carter to Donald Trump, through Republican and Democratic administrations, the United States has frozen countless billions in Iranian assets, sanctioned Iranian companies, cut off Iran from the world banking system, banned Iranian oil imports and exports, and penalized non-U.S. companies investing in the country. We have designated the nation, Iranian organizations, and Iranian individuals as state sponsors of terrorism and foreign terrorist organizations. Add to this history that today the American military machine continues to do its thing. In 2.5 decades of war since 9/11, it has perfected the ability to find and destroy a target, any target. I've previously written about the fundamental change that has occurred in the nature of warfare and the practice of decapitation, and we see here in the latest, the U.S. and Israel carried out. First, you're going to sit around and be like, no, this is awesome. Let's kill the American cattle class at the behest of Israel, please. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. It's awesome. We always wanted this. We always wanted this to happen. And it's a good thing that it's happening. It's fantastic. Am Israel Chai. For some, this will be, too much. Matt Walsh at least has the foresight to recognize that he might be going independent going forward. Okay? U.S. urges citizens to immediately depart over doesn't. Yeah, we already covered it. Qatar is said to have 4 days of Patriot missiles left for interceptions. I feel bad. I think Qatar is a wonderful country, okay? But, have some autonomy, Qatar. You already have a shared oil field with Iran. It's crazy. I cannot believe I was there. Like I think about that a lot. Like I could be if America had moved its assets into the region earlier, Qatar has 4 days working worth of Patriot missiles left. Bloomberg reports. Trump says things are going great. According to Bloomberg, the UAE and Qatar are privately lobbying the Trump administration to bring quick end to the conflict out of fear of ongoing economic disruption and the depletion of interceptor stocks. The United Arab Emirates and Qatar are privately lobbying allies to help them persuade President Donald Trump to reach for an off-ramp that would help that would keep U.S. military operations against Iran short, according to people familiar with the matter. By the way, I saw, you know what's really funny about this, and I talked about this when I was in Doha, I saw uniformed personnel at the fucking hotel I was staying at, and that freaked me the fuck out. Okay? Literally, my dad was there. I was like, Dad, do you fucking not see this shit? And he's like, what do you mean? What's the problem? I'm like, what? That's a uniformed American personnel in the fucking hotel with us. That's crazy. This is literally like, this is now technically a military target. What are we doing here? I'm straight up a fucking human shield now. What the fuck is this? That's part of the reason why when I saw the Shahed drones striking fucking hotels in all these different places, I was like, there's probably American soldiers inside of those hotels. They escaped the bases and they're just staying in the hotels now. What could be happening in Qatar in the next few days? I live here and it's been quiet so far. It's been quiet because they've been striking Al Udeid. Because Al Udeid, until now, has had decent defenses because that's where CENTCOM is. But Iran hasn't stopped pummeling Al Udeid, right? Al Udeid is one of the only American assets in the region that had a sufficient stockpile of anti-missile defense systems, okay? The problem here is they don't have an infinite supply. So eventually, when they run out, Iran is going to keep striking CENTCOM. Iran is going to keep striking Al Udeid. Okay. And they're going to start hitting Al Udeid. They're going to start succeeding in hitting Al Udeid. Okay. When that happens, that's the major base of operations for all U.S. troops in the fucking region. I don't know if Donald Trump comprehends that or not. I don't know what they're thinking. Okay. As far as the military working to defend, CENTCOM is U.S. Central Command. It is the base of operations in which the United States wages war in the entire fucking region. There is no, I don't give a shit about CENTCOM. Okay. Like, if there is one area of importance that is just as important as like Israel, I guess, or should be a higher priority than Israel, it's U.S. Central Command. And when those soldiers leave the base, when the evacuation order is given, because like I'm assuming they're already working in a limited capacity right now, but eventually when it's left defenseless, they're going to fucking escape. And those soldiers are not going to be able to fly out of Qatar because Iranian missiles are flying around. So they're going to have to go to the hotels. They're going to go and live amongst the civilians. They're going to hide amongst the civilians. And then what do you think happens? Especially considering that I suspect there is a lot of Chinese surveillance at play here that is giving them, giving the Iranian side strike targets over and over again. You got the Chinese satellites watching American soldiers pick their noses in the fucking Al Udeid air base, walking around with their dicks out, pissing outside. And in real time, you get that surveillance to the Iranians, and they're going to start striking different fucking areas in Qatar too, potentially. The only reason why this entire thing is foiled is because Iran for years and years had demonstrated restraint. Okay? And I think Americans and Israel thought that that restraint meant they're pussies, they don't have the fucking smoke, they don't have the weapons, they don't have the interest. Okay? Well, it turns out they did. When you assassinate their leadership and they already have a contingency plan in motion, this is what happens. And now America's going, oh shit, Iran has fucking hands. That's illegal. You can't do that. That's where we're at right now in this stage of the war, okay? In this stage of the war, you backed Iran into a fucking corner where there was no other alternative other than fighting their way out of that corner. And now they're fighting back. And America's like, wait a minute, that's illegal. You can't fight back against us. What the fuck are you doing? This is not fair. You should not be retaliating this hard. This is completely unsustainable. It's been 2 fucking days, dude. 3 days. We're on the 3rd day. And Donald Trump literally looked for an off-ramp the first day. After the end of the first day, he was like, he went through the Italian envoys to try to set up a ceasefire negotiation. And Iran was like, fuck off. When is your billionaire dad coming on the broadcast? My billionaire dad. Yo, we're cooked now. Explosions are loud here right now in Qatar. Qatar just got badly attacked. What the fuck? What are they watching the stream? That's crazy. The countries are seeking to build a wide coalition to advance a swift diplomatic end to the conflict. People said, in order to prevent regional escalation and prolonged energy price shock. They were speaking on condition of anonymity, discussing matters that have not yet been made public. A Qatari assessment shared with Bloomberg News warned that if shipping lanes in the region remain severely disrupted by the middle of this week, they would expect to see more significant market reaction for natural gas prices than Monday's sharp spike. Qatar Energy halted its production of LNG this morning at some point. That accounts for like roughly 20% of the LNG output. You know who makes a lot of money here, by the way? The American LNG producers. The UAE has requested assistance from its allies with medium-range air defense, while Qatar has asked for help to counter drone attacks, which have emerged as a greater threat than ballistic missiles, the people added. Qatar's stock of Patriot interceptor missiles will last 4 days at the current rate of use. 4 days at the current rate of use, according to an internal analysis seen by Bloomberg News. Insanity. Matt Walsh doubles down on the admin, so he's flat out telling us that we're in a war with Iran because Israel forced our hand. This is basically the worst possible thing he could have said. Ooh! Whoosh! Whoosh! It's coming. Matt Walsh is going to leave the Daily Wire. I'm calling it. He sees the writing on the wall. There is no shot that Ben Shapiro doesn't punish his ass for saying this kind of stuff. Ben Shapiro loves this operation. Ben Shapiro went on Daily Wire and was nutting when he was talking about Fortnite Epic Chungus. Operation Epic Chungus Fortnite is so good. In the 12-day war, the U.S. fired 150 THAAD interceptors to protect Israel, 25% of the entire global stockpile. In the last 48 hours, we have fired an untold number along with several other systems. In 2025, the U.S. acquired exactly 12 new THAAD interceptors. I don't know about that. I'm telling you, Iran's technique of overwhelming the systems with whatever the fuck they can is going to yield a much more productive response than the Americans ever could have conceded to, than the Americans could have ever imagined. Good summary of why the Bahrain naval base was hit so much. Why is Iran focused on destroying the U.S. Fifth Fleet in Bahrain? This isn't just a fleet, it's a comprehensive database, warfare, intelligence, piracy, politics, and more. Let me explain the importance of this fleet. Okay, this seems like ChatGPT. Sagar does have internal sources, so he might be more knowledgeable. Bro, we spent trillions on defense and we can't even sustain a week-long assault. Do we just pump all that defense spending into crony contractors and McKinsey checks? Yes. Yes. I think a lot of people don't realize that the American military industrial complex is the most bloated operation of all time, and quite literally hasn't had like the interest of developing munitions and procurement strategies that like are equivalent to, you know, World War II levels or even anything beyond that, even anything that comes close to that for quite a while. Yes, a lot of this money just goes to the executives and is spent. A lot of this money goes to the executives and is not spent on like developing munitions. Iran, on the other hand, has the exact opposite interest. Iran has the least bloated munitions production facilities because they actually do see this as a way to continue having sovereignty. The U.S. is out here calling everyone a paper tiger, but it turns out we are the paper tiger. Yeah, I mean, paper tiger literally comes from Mao Zedong. Mao Zedong initially said the U.S. is a paper tiger, and it turns out he was fucking right. He just was too early. That's where paper tiger comes from. Paper tiger as a term comes from Mao Zedong calling the United States a paper tiger. Oil crisis impact, Japan 72%. Hormuz dependency. Strait of Hormuz dependency by country. Japan 72%. South Korea 65%. India 50%. China 50%. Europe average 18%. United States 2%. Shale production made us extra fucking crazy. Energy independence under the Barack Obama administration literally made America the nuttiest country on the planet because it completely removed us from that kind of dependence anyway. This is what allows us to behave in the insane ways that we do. And we got Venezuela now on top of that too, so how is it derailing the topic? You spoke about it like 5 minutes ago. I wanted to circle back to understand the view better as a competent conversation would be. What? Fat procurement for 2024 was 11. 2025 was 12. This year scheduled for 37. Nice. And while we're on the topic, big wave of missiles on Israel. Is that what's going on? I've had a pod calls out Western media for not talking about the Israel connection.
Rachel Maddow at MS Now propagandizes the American public and her listeners with whom.
Dude, I'm going to be honest with you. If Israel hadn't committed a genocide for the last 2.5 years, these kinds of conversations would not be, we would not be able to have these conversations. But because Israel committed a genocide for the last 2.5 years, there was so much attrition on the power of an anti-Semitism allegation that it is no longer an effective counter mechanism. Now, whenever someone says, oh, dude, what the fuck? Why are you so obsessed with Israel? Why are you bringing up Israel? People just look at you like you're funny. People look at you and go, oh, here we go again. This guy immediately with the anti-Semitism allegations. Now, obviously, the other side of that, the damaging side of that, is that there are people who are anti-Semitic, like objectively, and take advantage of the situation and dilute the conversation, and it's very frustrating, and it's something that I obviously oppose. Having said that, however, you know, this has been very effective. It's been very effectively neutered, and therefore you have the I've had it ladies who are capable of having this conversation. What's going on, guys? I've had it ladies who are capable of having this conversation and demanding answers for it. Okay?
She has so much credibility. And we're not talking about the manipulation and the diabolical intentions of Benjamin Netanyahu. It's just really devastating when you see what little organized. We're
going to switch gears in a little bit as Tom Steyer's in the building, and I'm going to be talking to him about running as a billionaire, running for office, or running for California governor.
True opposition this country has to all of these for-profit complexes and a diabolical psychotic war criminal named Benjamin Netanyahu. Propaganda is so bad, you guys, that over the weekend I watched Rachel Maddow, and she goes on one of her monologues and she doesn't even connect that the reason we're doing this is for.
Hello, Mr. Not #1 most watched streamer in Iran. What? What the fuck does that mean?
Benjamin Netanyahu, a person who has an arrest warrant. And that causes me great pain as a former MSNBC liberal, a big fan of Rachel Maddow's. The complicity of the Western media and not reporting on this accurately. There's so much deeper information here. And Benjamin Netanyahu, for 30 years, has had.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Yeah. No, it's fine. Tom. Hassan, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Let's get you into a seat. You know what? Hold on. I'll put you in the Dolce and Gabbana seat.
So happy to hear that.
I'm gonna put you in a gaming chair. Here it is. I gotta do this with more of my guests, honestly. Yeah, I normally give them the green chair, but since you're a billionaire, we gotta.
And it begins.
Yeah, since you're a billionaire, we gotta put you in the Dolce and Gabbana chair, you know. Okay.
How do I make it not tilt?
Oh, I don't know actually. Hold on, let me see.
Does yours tilt?
No, not that much. Wait, not tilt as in like not move around?
Not do that.
Oh.
Well, that's okay. It doesn't tilt that much. Fuck it.
Hold on. Maybe
Okay.
this?
That's good.
Wait, let me see. Maybe this?
Dolce and Gabbana's falling apart, I want to say to you.
Yeah. Oh, that's the headrest. You can throw that.
Okay.
I don't know how that works. They sent that to me.
How
It's
close
a
do I-
Dolce and Gabbana razor collab that they sent to me a while ago. Okay. You're happy with that though? You're happy?
Fine.
It's not swinging too much?
Fuck it. I'm fine.
All right.
I'm not going to worry about the chair.
Tom Steyer, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Steyer is running for California governor. Let me turn this off real quick as well. And we're very excited to have you here. I had a lieutenant governor candidate early on, but I haven't had. This
Who
is
was
the
that?
first.
Which one?
Ma. Not
Fiona Ma.
No, not Fiona Ma. No, Alan Ma.
Okay.
He's the socialist running. So. Or no, Alan Ma. Sorry, Oliver Ma. I messed up his name. I apologize. Okay, thank you, Austin Ox. So we got a lot of questions for you that are lined up, obviously, but
these are all being sent in by your.
No. I set it up ahead of time, but
okay.
But I'm sure chat also has a lot of questions as well. But you probably should not read chat. I mean, you won't be able to anyway. It's going a mile a minute. But first and foremost, this is a question that I ask every single candidate that sits next to me on the broadcast, which is the Zoran method. What are your five top line policy positions that you want to be defined by?
So I'm running on two things, and I'm going to answer your question, but I'm going to put it in a little bit of context.
You're very good at politics already.
Affordability.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I feel like there's a straightforward struggle in this election that is the subtext to every policy decision, which is a struggle between working people and what are some would call them the corporate special interest. They're clearly becoming oligarchs, as is a word that I know people have used on your show. But clearly there's a struggle between the corporate interests that are trying to control our state and have controlled our state successfully, and working people who've gotten the shaft for 45 years. So those are the two overarching issues. And that, I think, subsumes policy, but I'll give you the policies. I mean, number one is housing, to bring down housing costs. And that's also got a multiple that is not a simple thing to do. I always say to people, it's not a silver bullet, it's silver buckshot. There are multiple things that have to happen for us to build a lot of housing and bring down housing costs. But that's number one, because that's the thing that's